Happy World Book Day 2024, and this year on World Book Day I want to share with you a tale from a different part of the world. When I was a little girl, I used to love reading stories from around the world. So fairy tales, Greek myths, tales from India. But today I'm going to share with you something called Arabian Nights. Arabian Nights is actually where the story of Aladdin comes from, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, Sinbad the Sailor. Some of these stories you have heard of, some not at all. I'll read you what it says on the back of this beautifully illustrated book. It says, Arabian Nights. To delay her execution by a bitter sultan, Scheherazade tells him a series of stories every night for 1,001 nights. From the adventures of Sinbad and Aladdin to tales of genies and magical lands, her stories are so amazing they save her life. Let's have a listen to the beginning and find out how it all starts. Now, my book doesn't actually have 1,001 stories. It's got about 11. Let me read the beginning to you. The Arabian Nights. Once upon a time, there lived a hugely rich and powerful sultan. Sultan is another word for a king. He ruled his country with kindness because he was in love. He and his wife were the happiest couple alive, or so he thought. One day, the sultan returned from a horse ride to find his wife in the arms of another man. The sultan was devastated. His heart was broken. But instead of being sad, the sultan was furious. He had his wife and her lover killed on the spot. If this woman can fail me, then no woman is to be trusted. I will never love again, he vowed. What the heartbroken sultan did next was so horrifying, it's gone down in history. Every afternoon, he married a different woman, only to put her to death the following morning. His kingdom quaked under his fearful reign. Parents hid their daughters away so they wouldn't be forced to marry the sultan. Girls fled the country. Newborn babies were met with sorrow instead of joy, since nobody knew when the sultan's terrible decree would end. Then one morning, a beautiful young woman named Scheherazade said to her father, I'm going to volunteer to marry the sultan next. Her father's eyes filled with tears. Why would you do such a thing? You are far too good and far too clever to throw your life away. Trust me, father, said Scheherazade. I have a plan that might save me and anyone else from having to die at the sultan's hand. Reluctantly, her father let her go. The sultan welcomed the girl's proposal and married her that very day. In the evening, as they were getting ready to go to sleep, Scheherazade said to the sultan, The night is long and I'm not sure I can sleep, knowing I will die tomorrow. To while the time away, may I tell you a story? Very well, said the sultan. And so, when the sultan was settled in his bed, Scheherazade began. This story is called The Fisherman and the Genie. There was once a poor fisherman who lived on whatever he caught from the sea. Most days he caught a fish or two for his supper, but some days he went hungry. One morning he went down to the sea as usual and cast his net. When he pulled on it, the net was surprisingly heavy. I must have caught lots of fish, he thought gleefully as he heaved his catch onto the shore. But all he'd caught was a big old cartwheel. Shaking his head, the fisherman untangled his net and cast it further out to sea. This time, when he pulled on it, the net was so heavy it hardly moved. This could be hundreds of fish, he thought eagerly, so he bent double and hauled his catch onto the shore. But this time, all he'd caught was a broken pile of clay pots. Rolling his eyes, the fisherman untangled his net and cast it even further out to sea. When he pulled on it, the net was so heavy it didn't move an inch. It's as heavy as 1,000 fish, he thought hopefully. He tugged with all his might and eventually pulled it to shore. But this time he'd caught a load of rocks. The fisherman sighed. Oh, I've only got time to cast my net once more today. If I don't find anything, I'll have nothing for supper, he said. He untangled his net and cast it out as far as he possibly could into the sea. Please let me catch something amazing this time, he prayed. Suddenly, the line went taut. When the fisherman pulled on it, the net was so heavy that he couldn't move it, no matter how hard he pulled. So he tied it to a stake on the beach and waded into the water to try and land his catch. He pushed and pulled and heaved and shoved and eventually managed to get the net to shore. But he was disappointed to find he hadn't caught a single fish. Instead, he had dragged up a large copper bottle, which was sealed with a cork. I still don't have a morsel to eat, but a copper bottle must be worth something, the fisherman said. He rubbed the bottle until it gleamed. I'll sell it to the market and buy some food. He untangled his net and started trying to drag the bottle up the beach, but it was too heavy for him. Maybe it's full of seawater, the fisherman thought, and he pulled out the cork to empty the bottle. No sooner had he opened it than a column of blue smoke billowed out into the sky. The fisherman staggered back in shock as the smoke gathered into a giant cloud above him and took the shape of a towering figure. It was a genie. I don't know if you can see that illustration. There he is, the fisherman and the genie. Who dares release me? Thundered the genie. His mouth was cavernous and his voice made the very earth tremble. It was me, squeaked the fisherman. The genie glared down at the terrible man. Get ready to die, he said. You ungrateful thing, the fisherman protested, suddenly filled with indignation. What did I do to deserve that? The genie shrugged. Years ago, when I tried to kill King Solomon, he ordered some other genies to imprison me in this bottle and throw the bottle into the sea. At first I said to myself, I will give all the gold inside the earth to the one who sets me free. That would have been a fine catch, said the fisherman. The genie continued. After 100 years, I said to myself, I will give all the jewels inside the world as well as its gold to the one who sets me free. That would have been a wonderful catch, sighed the fisherman. The genie continued. After 100 years, I thought to myself, whoever comes and sets me free has taken so long about it that he doesn't deserve to live. I'll kill him, whoever he is. So there you have it. Now choose how you want to die. The fisherman's mind raced as he tried to think of a way to escape death. I'm not strong enough to fight a genie, he thought, but maybe I'm clever enough to outwit one. He looked the genie up and down and declared, I don't believe you can kill me. What? Spluttered the genie. You're a liar, said the fisherman scornfully. I don't believe you could have come from inside that bottle. You're far too big. I'm a genie, you fool, he bellowed, turning purple with indignation. I have magical powers. I can do anything I like. Of course I can fit into that bottle. The fisherman shook his head. No way, he said. He picked up the bottle and the cork and waved them at the genie. Your big toe wouldn't even fit inside here. You're not powerful enough to change that. I am, insisted the genie. I can make myself as big as the sky or as small as a beetle. I'm certainly powerful enough to fit inside a silly bottle. The fisherman snorted. I won't believe it until I see it with my own eyes, he said. Then watch this, roared the genie, and he disappeared down the neck of the bottle. Do you believe me now? His voice echoed out. In the blink of an eye, the fisherman pushed the stopper back into the top of the bottle. Yes, I do, he laughed. You fit very nicely, thank you. Oh no, wailed the genie. Let me out, please. Not likely, said the fisherman. I'm throwing you right back in the sea. Please, please, begged the genie. I'll make you rich to the end of your days. The fisherman paused. And you'll promise to leave me alone and never cross my path again, he said. I promise, whimpered the genie. So the fisherman pulled out the cork out of the bottle. He gulped nervously as the genie billowed out again and loomed above him. But then the genie bowed down low and stretched out his hand. Come, he said. The fisherman stepped onto the enormous outstretched palm, and the genie lifted him high into the air. See that lake? He said, pointing down to the forest. A lake glimmered silver among the trees. I see it, said the fisherman. Nobody knows of its existence but me, and now you, said the genie. It's a magic lake with fish in it, the likes of which you've never seen. Throw your net in and you'll catch 4 fish, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 yellow, 1 white. If you take them to the Sultan, he will reward you with riches beyond your wildest dreams. The genie lowered the fisherman gently back down onto the beach. After bowing to the fisherman once more, he flew away across the sea. The fisherman hurried off to the lake. When he got there, he cast his net into the water and pulled it out again. Just as the genie had promised, he had caught 4 fish, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 white, each more beautiful than the last. He took them to the Sultan, who was delighted. These are the most splendid fish I've ever seen, he exclaimed. He was so pleased with the present that he gave the fisherman enough gold to make him rich to the end of his days. After that, the fisherman lived very happily indeed. He got married and had a family. He continued fishing in his spare time and enjoyed telling his children and grandchildren all about the time he had met a genie. Once later in life, he tried to show his children the magical lake so they could fish there too, but it was nowhere to be found. Scheherazade finished the story and fell silent. That story was amazing, said the Sultan. Scheherazade smiled. That's nothing compared to the story I can tell you tomorrow, she said, as long as you let me live. Very well, said the Sultan. I will spare your life for 1 more day. I hope you enjoyed listening to my story, and I hope that you've been inspired to read your own tales of the Arabian Nights. Enjoy World Book Day and have a fantastic time reading. Bye!